Looks like YouTube's going. That's good. And how's everyone doing on this Friday night? Hopefully everybody having a good one. Yeah, I'm good. How are you? Okay. But yeah, looking as always to have debates with folks who are 18 plus and have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God. As far as I can tell, there is no justification for that position, but hey, maybe somebody will convince me that I'm wrong, right? Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, thanks for the heart me, Poppy Loco. How old am I? I'm 40. 40. Well, I appreciate it, Disaster Mind. Thanks for being a viewer, silent or not. Whoa. What is happening? Why is my... Oh. OBS is so weird sometimes. Oh, yeah, WKC, thank you so much. And hey, Monkey Boy, glad to see you here. How do I pronounce my name? Ogar. Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for the support for Poppy Loco, KC, and Broken Tree Branch, and Colette, and Saintly. Thank you so much, sincerely. Monkey Boy making sure to shout it out. Fan club stickers. Depends on what you mean. Just upload them. But yeah, if you are 18 plus and have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God, feel free to request up. I'd be happy to have the debate. Should be able to bring up my first guest momentarily here. Just gotta get the YouTube squared away. All right, should be good there. All right. Hi, Oka. How old are you?
I'm 18.
Okay.
I'm 19 actually. 2007.
Can you turn down the music? Hey, Swan.
My bad.
All good. What God do you believe in?
I'm just a theist.
Okay, and then what would you say is the best argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God?
I would just say it's more probable for me. God is more probable.
What makes it more probable?
I just think that certain things are more expected under theism than atheism.
Such as?
Beauty. Actually, the universe existing at all is more probable under theism than atheism.
Why is that?
Because theism says that there's a mind, and that mind would employ other minds, you know.
No, I have no idea what you're talking about. It just sounds like you're saying that you believe in theism because like it just kind of feels good to you, like it is intuitive, and I can agree with you that it's intuitive, but I don't see that that's a reason to think that it's true.
It's not about intuition. It's about probability. Like it's
right. Then I would need you to actually explain the probability, because all you're saying right now is I think these things are more probable under theism than naturalism, but you're not giving me any reason to think that that's true. You're just making it sound like you think it's more probable because it feels that way. All right. Well, I'm not gonna deal with you being in the bathroom. All right. If you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. All right. Hi, Holistic. How old are you?
Hi, I'm 20.
You said 20?
Yeah.
Okay. And what version of God do you believe in?
In the version of there just being one God and that's a higher power.
Yeah, I didn't ask how many gods you believe in. I asked which version of God do you believe in?
I believe in one God. So just
Yep,
like
that's
the higher
again just
power.
telling me a number. I did not ask a number. Okay,
No,
so I'm not asking you
religious.
anything about a number. I'm asking which version of God do you believe in? Like, do you believe in the classical theistic God? Do you believe in like the more like mainstream version of God? What kind of a God do you believe in?
Okay, so I believe in my own version of God. I'm not religious, so I just believe that there's a higher power. Does that make sense to you?
No, because everyone who believes in a God believes that there's a higher power. So you haven't told me
Yes,
anything that I didn't already know. So what you
do
need
not
to tell
understand
me
that
is
I'm
what
not
version of
religious.
God you do believe in, not what you don't believe in, and not just
And
saying the same thing over again.
I believe in the God who created the world.
Oh my fucking God. Obviously, everyone who believes in a God says that they believe in the God who created the world. Are you fucking serious? Like, is this just rage bait?
Do you not
Like,
understand that I'm not religious though?
I understand that you're
explain
not
that?
religious. I'm not saying
So
you
then
don't
what
have
do
to.
I pick?
You just tell me what kind of
I
God you
just
believe
told
in.
you. I'm trying to tell you,
Oh
but
my
you're not
fucking
using it
God.
all
I don't know why this is
invalid.
such a difficult thing. All right, whatever.
Okay,
So
can you please help me understand one thing, please? Because I'm generally trying to so I'm not a religious person, but I believe in God. What category does that fall under? Please help me understand.
you could just
Genuine
tell me the
answer.
basic qualities that your God has. Like, is it all
Okay, let
knowing?
me
Is it
tell
all
you.
good? Is it all loving? Is it
Okay,
all powerful? Does it have a
okay,
certain amount of those qualities, and how, like, what degree? There's a
okay,
million different things that you could say other than just like, well, I believe in a God that's a God. Well, I already knew when you said you
okay,
believed in a God that you were talking about a God. Like, I had that part already. I'm
okay,
just trying to nail down some concept of what you mean when you say the word
okay,
God.
okay. Sorry, I'm just it's confusing because everyone believes in a religious God. So now
No,
let me
not
tell you
everyone
the
believes in
God.
a religious God. So just tell me,
Then
like, okay, whatever. You know what? I don't even want to get on this anymore. What's the argument or evidence for God?
why are you so irritated? Like, can we
Because you're
just talk?
irritating. What's the argument or evidence for God?
Oh, there's no point.
Okay, thank you. I mean, I don't know why it's so difficult to answer such a basic question. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you are an adult and you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. Hi, JB. How old are you?
I'm 21 years old. How are you doing today?
Doing just fine. And what version of God do you believe in?
True God, I'm Lutheran. I believe I read the NKJV version of Bible.
And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God?
I would say, and it might not be the best, but a good one that I never really hear, is the language barrier system and how all that works.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So, that there's, a Chinese, there's Mandarin, there's Spanish, there's all these different types of languages. So if God wasn't real and if there was a big bang, so per se, then that's quite the extravagant thing to have multiple languages come out of nowhere.
Okay, so what you're saying is that you just don't understand what languages are or how they come into existence, and you just don't know anything about human history. So your argument is basically, I know so little about human history and the development of language that I have to assume there's a God to explain this thing that I haven't spent a half a second of my 21 years of life thinking about before.
Yeah, well, explain to me then, and then how different languages became origin to certain parts of the world.
Well, okay, so you know that language is like a human invention, right?
Was a godly invention used?
No, I mean, that's just presupposing that there's a God. You can't use language as an argument to get to God when you have to presuppose God to build your understanding of languages. What you're saying, though, hold on, JB. What you're saying is because you assume that language can only come about if a God creates it, then obviously you're going to think that there must be a God to explain it. But that's just assuming the conclusion before we even start. Like, that's why it seems that way to you.
So let me get this straight. Just in your view, you believe that different languages became about throughout time.
Obviously, we know that that's the case. We can study it. There are linguists.
It wasn't a solid thing right away, but it was created by God because.
Yeah, again, you're just all you're doing now is making your argument circular. You're saying because because languages, you're saying that because languages have to come from God, there must be a God, but you would have to demonstrate that. You don't get to just assume it.
Well, okay, so there at one point in the world. So you believe in the Big Bang? Let me get that straight first.
This has nothing to do with language, dude. Keep it together. Just keep it together, my guy. Keep it together. We're talking about language right now.
Do you believe in the Big Bang?
Keep it together, dude. We're talking about language right now.
Okay, so I'm assuming you do. So you believe an explosion created.
No, the Big Bang is not. This is exactly why I don't want to go into this other stuff, because you're so fucking ignorant that obviously bringing in other topics is going to make it. Obviously, bringing in other topics is going to make it really complex.
That proves the Bible wrong.
Obviously, the Bible proves itself wrong, you moron.
It doesn't.
Okay, what year was Jesus born? What year was Jesus born?
That you couldn't.
What year was Jesus born?
What was it? BC?
When?
1380, if I remember correctly.
Jesus was born in 13 AD? Do you know when the Bible says Jesus was born?
When is the Bible? Is it like 439 or something?
What?
Or is that when he died?
Do you just...
I did not say BC.
Do you just not know anything? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? What year does the Bible say Jesus was born?
What is it saying? Which Bible are you going off of? There are different Bibles for different religions.
The New Testament, okay. All right. Okay. It's obvious now. I'm so sorry I didn't see it immediately. It's obvious that guy was just a trolling rage bait. That had to be trolling. Yes, 100%. No, the reason that I brought up Jesus's birth is because Matthew says that Jesus was born during Herod the Great's reign, which had to be in 4 BCE or earlier. And then Luke says that he was born while Quirinius was governor and did census, which was in 6 CE. So there's 10 years between when Matthew says Jesus was born and when Luke says Jesus was born. Right. Matthew says 4 BCE and Luke says 6 CE. All right. There's different Bibles. Yeah. All right. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide rational justification to believe in a God. Oh shit. Over 500. That's crazy. Well, welcome in everybody. Thank you for the support. Also, Sir Piffington and Alan Gibson, appreciate it. Ashley, thank you so much. Redhead, thank you. Molly Ringworm, appreciate your support as well. Thistle Honey and Redhead again. Lem, thank you so much. Poppy Loco and Absurdism, appreciate your support. Paul, thank you very much. Poopman Jones, killing it as always. Thank you so much. Live You Stoica, thank you so much. Marmalade, thank you very much for the support. It's good chatting with you earlier in the Discord. Saintly, appreciate it. And Colette, Broken Tree Branch, KC, Poppy Loco, thank you all so much. And Mikey, again, thank you so much, sincerely, everybody, for the support. Hey, thanks, Goblin Brain. Love that. Okay, so if you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God. Well, apparently Limitless isn't going to connect. We found Limitless's limit. Oh, maybe.
Hello?
Hi, how old are you?
20.
And what version of God do you believe in?
Jesus Christ.
And then what would you say is the best argument or evidence that will provide rational justification to believe in a God?
I guess I would start with something I read from NASA, that the sun is 98 million miles away, and then according to NASA, if it was an inch further, an inch closer, life could not exist, and yet it's just warm enough to ripen our tomatoes. Or if the moon was...
Where did you read this from, NASA?
It's actually out of a book called,
A book that NASA published? A book that NASA published?
No, not by NASA, by somebody who used to do work with them. It's something God. That I can't remember, but
okay, well, this is wrong. So this is just wrong. So the Earth, over the course of a year, our distance from the sun changes by millions of miles. So, like, we get millions of miles closer to and further away from the sun over the course of a year. So, obviously, a difference of an inch would not make a difference.
If you just Google AI or go anywhere on the internet, though, it says that the sun is 98 million miles away.
I know, and we get closer and further. That's like an average. Over the course of a year, it's about 98 million miles. But we get millions of miles closer to it. Like, the distance changes by about 3 million miles throughout the course of the year.
That I didn't know. Wow.
Yeah, our orbit around the sun is not a perfect circle. It's elliptical. So we get a little bit closer sometimes and a little bit further away.
That's awesome.
And also, we could be 50% again further away. So we could be over 130 million miles away from the sun and still be in the habitable zone. So we could go from being 98 million miles to 130 million miles and still survive. So we could, the distance, the difference, the change that happens over the course of the year could be much, much bigger, and we could be 10 times bigger, and we'd still be fine.
I didn't know that. Wow. That's
right. So the idea that there's some perfect balance there is just totally wrong.
For sure. That makes sense. And then I guess, dude, what about, before I go to the main one, what about the moon? Have you heard that the moon, they say if it was 1/10 of the distance from away or closer to the world, that the oceans would submerge all continents 3 times a day?
Come on, man. Let's talk about something serious. I don't want to hear this conspiracy theory bullshit.
For sure. So I guess no, I hear that. Actually, that actually makes sense. So I guess just to be honest, I guess a building is proof of a builder. Like they say, it's scientifically impossible for nothing to create everything, right? Like a painting's proof of a painter. A building's proof of a builder.
Do you know why a painting is proof of a painter?
Because we can see it, even though we don't know who the painter is.
No, because we have information about paintings. We know that they don't occur naturally. That's already a thing that we have background information about. We're already aware that the only way that paintings come into existence is by people making them. We don't have that kind of information about planets, and we don't have that kind of information about stars, and we don't have that kind of information about universes. So if you want to say that there's a reason to believe that the universe has a universer, well, you would need to present that reason. You can't draw the same inference that you draw from buildings to the universe.
All right, thank you.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
All right. Baby's first thought about his beliefs. Buildings and paintings. All right. If you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, please make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide rational justification to believe in a God. Hi, RPF. How old are you?
19.
And what version of God do you believe in?
I believe in Hindu gods, but that's not too relevant to my topic.
Okay, you believe that there's an immaterial mind that created and sustains the universe?
Yeah.
All right, and what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in a God?
Real quick before I get started, to make sure there's no nuance in what we're arguing, are you arguing the fact that God isn't real with like that absolute, that it isn't real with 100% accuracy? Or are you just saying that God may or may not be real, like God might not be real?
I'm saying that I'm making a knowledge claim. I know that there is no God.
Okay, so it's an absolute, right?
No, it's a knowledge claim.
Knowledge claim, all right. So I have a question real quick.
Nope, you already asked your one question. What's the argument for God?
That's what I'm trying to get to.
Yep, you already asked a question. I don't want questions. I want the argument for God.
That's what the argument's going to be.
No, the arguments don't involve questions. There are no questions when you give an argument. So what is the argument?
Sure, man. Okay, so here's what I'm trying to say.
Sure. Yep, I agree. That's what you're trying to say. Is that it? Asking you to give an argument was too much? You short-circuited? RPF. Yeah, I had to go read a script before actually giving it. Hello? All right, fair enough. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're an adult and you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. Right away when pressed for an argument. All right. Once again, if you're in the guest queue, make sure that you're an adult and you have some kind of argument or evidence for God. Before I bring up the next person, first off, holy fuck, I already hit the gift goal for the heart me's. Thank you so much. I set it kind of, not crazy high because I want to, hopefully get it, and then supposedly that helps with the algorithm, and I still feel like it's a little bit high, and you guys killed it, so thank you so much for that. Thank you 3 Pips for the support in general. Thank you 24 Carrot, Chronically Swamped, Goblin Brain, thank you so much, and Mikey, Livu, Lem, Sir Piffington, appreciate everybody very, very much. Ashley, Redhead, everybody, Talarin, probably just text prediction, Poppy Loco, you guys rock. Hey, thanks, Poppy Loco. It still blows me away the amount of support that you guys send, and I don't know how to thank you enough for that. Anyway, we'll bring up the next person. Hopefully have a good debate here. Yeah, big numbers indeed. I don't know what's going on. Hi, Antonio. How old are you?
36.
And what version of God do you believe in?
I believe in a philosophical, personal, tri-personal God.
You said what?
I believe in a personal God who is 3 persons.
Okay, you could just say Christian,
No, because my argument's not going to be based upon any...
I don't care, but you can be honest and just say that you believe in the Christian God.
It's not biblical. It's completely irrational.
I didn't say anything about that. You can just be honest that you believe in the Christian God. So you believe in the Christian God, right?
I will not affirm that.
Okay, well then I'm not going to talk to you unless you give me an answer. So I'll ask one more time. Do you believe in the Christian God?
I told you.
All right. Well, I'm not going to fuck around. Too embarrassed to admit being Christian. Like, I'm totally fine if your argument is like for a generic God because you don't want to argue straight for the Christian God immediately. No problem. That doesn't bother me at all. But, well, yeah, I'd be embarrassed to admit to being Christian too. But if you actually believe in the Christian God, just say that you believe in the Christian God. That's simple. What do you think I was dodging, Zeno? You know what I was dodging? I was dodging a gibberator because I have no patience for that shit. Saving everybody the heartache. All right, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God. Hi, Kidge. How old are you?
I'm 57.
Cool. And what version of God do you believe in?
I just believe in a higher power.
Okay, but
I got one question for you.
Well, hold on. Is it an
You've never
immaterial
tried-
mind that created and sustains the universe? Is it something like that?
No, you said God isn't real. How do you know God isn't real?
Right. I'm just trying to nail down that we mean the same thing when we're saying God.
A statement. I'm asking you.
And I'm trying to clarify something before we get into it. If we can't clarify this question, then we can't have the conversation. So when you say that you believe in a God, are you talking about an immaterial mind that created and sustains the universe?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you for clarifying. And you said you don't believe in a religion, you just believe that there is a God?
Yes.
Fantastic. So there's a lot of responses to why I don't believe in a God. I think that like the easiest thing is simply that no one has ever actually provided a positive case for God's existence that is compelling. Every time I've heard anyone give an argument for God, it's essentially been self-defeating, either because it's circular or because it relies on things that we know are false, or it entails a contradiction. Lots of those kinds of things.
You can't go by what anyone else. You have to have your own experience with God. And if you've never tried to have a fellowship with God, that is upon you
Mm-hmm.
You are
Well,
taking your own life into your own hand.
sure.
And
So
if
the
you
reason that
have
I
never once tried to have a fellowship with God in earnest,
okay, well, you notice how I
then
haven't tried to.
you will never experience
Kid,
God.
you notice how I didn't try to read your mind and I asked you to clarify your position? I would appreciate if you gave me the same courtesy of not trying to read my
I'm
mind.
sorry.
You have no
I'm
idea
sorry.
how much time I spent trying to believe in God. You have no idea what steps I took. You don't even know what my background is, I would assume. Like, you don't know that I used to be a Christian and how seriously I took it and that I thought I was going to go into the clergy. You don't know anything about that. You just come
And
in
so
here
you
thinking
never
that because I don't
experienced
believe
God?
what you believe, I thought I did. Yeah, but then I learned better. I grew up, right? So what I was trying to explain to you is that one of the main reasons to start not, to stop believing in God maybe would be the fact that there is no actual positive case that works for God. But then a better reason to believe that there is no God is the fact that it seems the very concept of a God entails contradictions. For example, if God created the universe, then either his act of creation had a beginning or it didn't. If it did have a beginning, then that means God changed from not creating to creating, which means that he's in time. But if he's in time, then he's in the universe. And if he's in the universe, he didn't create the universe. So it's
So you
obviously
think
not
your
possible
mind-
for God to have started creating, because that would put him in the universe. So if God's act of creation didn't have a beginning, then that means that he was creating the universe eternally, which means the universe eternally existed, which means it never came into existence, which means it wasn't created, which means God didn't create it. So the only options are either God's act of creation had a beginning or it didn't, and both lead to the conclusion that God did not create the universe, which means the only possible conclusion is that God did not create the universe. But if he exists, he
Oh,
did
that's
create the universe,
bullshit.
which means he
You
doesn't
thought that
exist.
up- You've spent a lot of time thinking that up, haven't you? You're losing out, buddy.
Do you have any response?
You would not believe what I've been through in my life.
Do you have any response? So you asked me for an
God.
argument, I gave you the argument.
No, I'm telling you, I've experienced
Yeah,
God,
do you have any
and I do
response to
not
any
believe.
substantive response to what I said?
So you have a good day.
All right, fair enough. I refuse to engage after asking. Okay. All right. If you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you are 18 plus and you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide rational justification to believe in a God. Let me check this real quick. Oh. All right, fair enough.
Hello?
Hi, S's. Still 18 and generic theist?
No, I'm a Hindu now. Yes, still 18.
Okay. And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that you've got today?
Yeah, I would say I'm still convinced of the previous argument I gave. I digged into the objections. Do you remember? There's objections you gave? Or
No,
anything?
not specifically. We talked about a
Okay,
few
no
different
problem. Yeah,
arguments.
Yeah, I think pretty sure we went over psychophysical harmony.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember you gave me two different objections. The bigger one being that you were a, quote, token identity theorist,
Mhm.
and also something about like dualist atheist, like evolution, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, the evolution one I read into. So apparently the author of the argument is Brian Cutter, and apparently
Well, and Dustin Crummett.
Oh, okay. I didn't actually know that. Yeah, but apparently he already like disproved that in the paper.
No, he claims in the paper that evolution doesn't matter, but he's wrong. You should read,
okay.
yeah, you should read the response from Graham Oppie. He does a really good job of laying out why Cutter and
Really?
Crummett are wrong.
Sure. Does he have a? Wait, are you referring to that one video with like Graham Oppie and Brian Cutter?
No, I'm talking about the paper that Oppie wrote.
Really? Wow. Wait, that's really interesting. I actually didn't know that. Yeah, I'm definitely
Yeah,
looking into
let me find it. I have it in my
that. Cool. You have it here? Because I did have some issue with your theory as well, or some questions at least, at the very least.
Oh, this wants to be so fucking stupid. God, oh my God. Come on, Google Drive. I got it in my... Okay, here it is. Nope, that's going to take for fucking ever.
That's no problem, no problem.
Okay, here we go. All right. No. Where the fuck did that go? Ah, it's called... Is this the actual title, or did I save it under that? Faith and Philosophy, Journal of the Society of Christian Philosophers. And the name of the paper, it was
But
published.
I'm not a Christian.
What?
It's like Christian philosophers. I'm not a Christian.
That's the name of the journal it was published in?
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
Continue.
Graham Oppy's an atheist as well. That's just the name of the journal that published it.
Oh,
So it was published July 1st, 2026. Or do they do the numbering weird? Maybe it was January. I don't know. Anyway, the name of the paper is Against Divine Promulgation of Psychophysical Laws. And yeah, it's by Graham Oppy. And it was published in the Faith and Philosophy Journal of the Society of Christian Philosophers.
Faith of Soul. Wait, let me write that down.
Yeah, so what you should write down is Against Divine Promulgation of Psychophysical Laws. That's the
Against
name.
what, divine what?
Promulgation, PROMULGATION.
Got it. Yeah, against divine promulgation for psychophysical laws.
Yeah, Against Divine Promulgation of Psychophysical Laws. Yep. And he very well explains the evolution objection, because he's explaining how you know, if you think that evolution is correct, which obviously the evidence says that it is, then we would have to have a very long evolutionary history, and there's no reason, in fact there's very good reason to think that if there was psychophysical disharmony in the early you know, the earliest ancestors that cognition developed in, they would not have survived to pass their genes on.
Can I get a question about that though? I would agree that we like from an evolutionary perspective that we would need a degree of psychophysical harmony, but I don't know if I would agree that it would be as good as it is right now. I think that's fair to make that difference. Like I think the harmony we have right now is like really good. I think it would be above the baseline of like for purely survival only. Do you think that's fair to say?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I think that we have a level of harmony that is well within expectation, because we have types of disharmony that don't impact our ability to propagate the species. And so I would think that if our psychophysical harmony was created and crafted and put in place by some perfect creator, that it would be perfect harmony. But we don't have perfect harmony. We have all kinds of problems. Like we have all kinds of like addictive tendencies in people. Like obviously, like it's harmful to be addicted to things, but lots of people cannot kick their addictions to things. I know people who have died from being addicted to shit, right? Like genuinely, I have a family member who passed away from a drug addiction because yeah, it was horrible, absolutely, but it was because there was a psychophysical disharmony between her desire to use those substances versus the impact using those substances had on her in her life. And like,
yeah, I've heard that one. I've actually heard this objection before. First of all, I want to say I'm very sorry to hear that, and I hope you're
I'm not trying to get sympathy, and the only reason I'm talking about it on here is because it's something that I'm not like. It happened a while ago, so it's you know. But I'm just saying that this is a real thing that happened, and it obviously doesn't just happen to me. It happens to lots of people. I have a lot of friends who have had insane, difficult struggles with alcoholism. I have a really good buddy who is like. Currently now he's doing a lot better, but there was a while there where we thought he was going to die. And again, it's because of that disharmony in his mind. His body, his mind is telling him that he wants to drink alcohol, that he needs to drink alcohol, that there's a problem if he doesn't drink alcohol. And yet it was the drinking alcohol that was ruining his life. You know, so like, yeah, there is lots of disharmony that wouldn't be there if we were created by a good and knowing God that knew what it was doing and wanted to create good creatures, especially not a loving God. And definitely, we would not have the disharmonies that we have if we were created by a loving God.
The problem with that is like, I want to be as neutral as possible and say that just because God is perfect, I don't see why it entails that our harmony would need to be perfect. I feel like a world with imperfections would be expected under, let's say, theism as well.
No.
Would you disagree? Yeah,
entailing imperfections is an imperfection. So a perfect being could not entail imperfections.
Sure. What's your... I'm gonna be a bit skeptical here and say, like, how do we know that it's imperfect?
Okay, so you're saying that our psychology that leads to people dying from drug overdoses because their mind is telling them that they need to take the drugs that are literally killing them, you're saying that's perfect?
I really don't want to be dishonest, but like from a logical perspective, I'd probably say like it's not necessarily bad, but I hope you don't take that in a way where I'm like trying to lie.
No, what you're saying is that it would not be better if my family member hadn't overdosed. You're saying that my family member overdosing and dying from that is the best thing that could possibly have happened, and if that hadn't happened to her, the world would be worse. That's fucked.
Wait, sorry, I'm so sorry. Wait, like it's God's decree though. Like God is perfect.
Right.
So
You're saying that the world would
God's
not
decree
be
is
better. You're saying that the world would not be better if she was still alive.
Well, the world would actually be better, but there's
Okay,
other
well,
factors
if the
as
world would be better, then it wasn't perfect that it happened. Because if it was perfect, it could then that's the best thing that could have happened. Or at the very least, if anything else could have happened that wouldn't make it worse, that would be just as good. But again, you're saying that it would not be better if it hadn't happened. Well, my position is that the world would be better, and I guarantee that her kids think that the world would be better if she was still alive. I guarantee that well, I don't want to get too deep into our family relations, but I guarantee that her parents would be much happier if she was still alive. I guarantee her kids would be. I guarantee her siblings, all of us in the family would be a lot happier, and all of her friends and everyone else that she knew would be a lot happier and think the world would be better. And so, again, what you're saying now is that, in fact, the world would be worse, or at the very least wouldn't be better if that hadn't happened to her. That's fucked.
Is this like another version of like LPOE?
No, I'm not trying to run anything like that. I'm just saying that your claim was that the world is perfect, that the way things are happening is perfect, and what that means is that the Holocaust was perfect, that the world would not be better if the Holocaust had been prevented. Obviously, my position is going to be that the world would, in fact, be better if the Holocaust had never happened. The world would be much, much better if the genocide in Palestine wasn't happening. The world would be better if we didn't oppress minorities in America, right? Like, I mean, there are so many things that could make the world better. Even one less instance of children being assaulted would make the world better. But no, you're saying that, in fact, the world is perfect, and so having less instances of child rape wouldn't make the world better.
No, so I would say here like free will.
No, my question is, would the world be better?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would the world be better if there were less instances of child rape?
Yes.
Okay, so is the world currently perfect?
Yes.
All right, well, you just contradicted yourself.
Wait.
At this point, I'm done. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I guess we could just write the contradiction down, and then.
Wait. So.
Okay. So. If the world. Okay. So first, we're gonna say the world is perfect, and then if the world is perfect, making it different wouldn't make it better, and then making the world different such that there are less instances of child abuse would make the world better. So conclusion, making the world different wouldn't make it better, and making the world different would make it better. This is the contradiction that you're affirming right now. So you need to either resolve this or there's nowhere to go.
I actually don't know what my script. I would say actually sure that I can see it.
Okay.
I can see it on, but okay, I actually can see it on this one. But let me ask. I think you brought up a good
so
point, actually.
correct. The world is not perfect, right?
No, correct. Yes, correct. Yes, the answer is yes.
The
world
answer
is not perfect.
Okay, fantastic. And entailing imperfections is an imperfection, right?
Entailing imperfection is an not necessarily, because
you think it's possible for a perfect thing to entail anything other than perfection?
Yeah. So like, for example, let's say like I'm perfectly good, but then I do an actual that would be perceived as bad. That doesn't necessarily make me not perfectly good. Is that fair?
No, that doesn't make any sense. You're saying that if you're doing an action that isn't actually bad, because all things considered it's good, then you have still done the perfect thing.
Yeah, so I'm basically making.
Okay, so you're saying, so what you're trying to do is you're saying this example that doesn't involve doing an imperfection is an example of an imperfection where it could be entailed from perfection. Like, you're just saying that, like, your example didn't, hold on. Your example did not include entailing an imperfection. So you need to provide an example or some demonstration that it's possible for perfection to entail an imperfection without it being an imperfection itself.
Okay, when you say entail, what do you mean by that word?
Like, an entailment is just a logical consequence of something.
Logical consequence. Okay, got it. So
right, the logical consequence of adding 2 and 2 is 4. So 4 is entailed from 2 plus 2.
Mm-hmm. So a consequence. So if I'm perfectly good, then the consequences of my actions should be perfectly good, right?
I'm not talking about consequences, no. I'm saying that if you are perfectly good, then all the actions that you take would be perfectly good. Because as soon as you take an action that isn't perfectly good, well, then you're no longer perfectly good. And if you're perfect in any other aspect, like if you're like, have perfect strength, well, as soon as your strength falters, you no longer have perfect strength. You just have really good strength. If you are perfectly loving, but you act towards someone in a way that is less than perfectly loving, well, you're no longer perfectly loving. So if you are a perfect being and you do anything that is in an imperfect way, you do anything in an imperfect way, well, then you're not actually perfect. Because if you were perfect, then all the things that you would do would be perfect. Like,
but
this is just
what did God do that was imperfect?
He created an imperfect world. His action of creation, if he created this world, his act of creation entailed an imperfect world. And so since his action entailed imperfection, that means that the action itself was not perfect.
Sure, but...
Okay, so a perfect thing did an imperfect thing.
No, the world is perfect, but we made it bad.
Okay, so you're actually a Christian. So when you said earlier that you were Hindu, you were just lying.
Well, it's a separate form of belief. Like in
No, you're just Christian. Just admit that you're Christian.
No, I'm actually not Christian.
Okay, well then what was the thing that you just said?
Like we made it bad?
Mm-hmm. Explain that.
That the world was created perfect, but we made it bad?
Mm-hmm.
The explanation for that?
Yeah, what's the Hindu explanation for that?
I'm not that well educated on this person.
Yeah, no, because you're not actually Hindu. You're a Christian pretending not to be Christian.
Sure, I'm Muslim. I swear. I'm Muslim. I swear. I promise. That's my actual religion, but I'm a bit ashamed because everyone just keeps on bringing up Aisha. So I'm ashamed of saying that. And when
you should
atheists are so helpful.
You should be. You should be ashamed of worshiping a pedophile. Absolutely, you should be.
No, he's not. No, don't say no. Don't blasphemize him.
I can say whatever the fuck I want. I don't worship your pedophile prophet.
Well, I don't worship him either.
Okay. Well, do you venerate him? Do you hold him in high esteem?
Yes, I definitely do.
Yeah, so do you think that it's a good thing to hold pedophiles in high esteem?
Wait, he wasn't a pedophile.
Oh, he wasn't a pedophile. He was just a pedophile?
What? He wasn't a pedophile.
He wasn't a pedophile. He just raped children, right?
What's the evidence for that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now are you gonna like reveal that you believe something else now, or are you actually Muslim?
No, I promise I'm actually Muslim. But
okay.
There's evidence that she was mature. There's evidence that she was mature. Right, can we talk about
mature at 9 years old?
Yes. She was in a war.
At 9 years old.
Yeah, but she was in a war.
You think it's possible for 9-year-old children to consent to sexual activity?
No, definitely no.
Okay, so then she was raped.
But she was the logical.
She was raped, and then she was a child. And what do you call it when you rape a child?
A pedophilic act.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when Mohammed raped a child, what did that make him? Muhammad is a.
No.
What is he? What do you call someone who rapes children?
Can I give you evidence?
What do you call someone who rapes children?
A rapist.
No. What's the specific word?
Pedophile?
Yeah. And so when Muhammad raped a child, what did that make him?
No, he didn't rape him. No.
Okay, so did Muhammad have sex with her?
Yes.
And she was how old?
9, but listen.
Okay, so here we're gonna go ahead and we'll put it up on the screen here. Okay, so we're gonna say
hold on.
Raping
bro, wait, why are you talking about religion?
a child makes you a pedophile. Muhammad had sex with Aisha when she was 9. If Aisha was 9, then she was a child and could not consent to sexual activity. Having sex with someone who cannot consent to sexual activity is rape. So conclusion, Muhammad was a pedophile.
She was the only one in history that was able to give consent, and I have evidence for this.
Oh my fucking god, that's disgusting. Oh my fucking god. No, I promise that she could consent even though she was 9. Unfucking believable. Well, that just got worse and worse. Like, I don't know how you, like, unbelievable. By far, one of the worst things. Like, I don't know, man. Oh, because I said, yeah, and he was laughing. Yeah. No, I'm not talking to you again. S is the only way that I will ever talk to you again is if you come up and admit that Muhammad was a pedophile and pedophilia is bad. That's the only way I will ever talk to you again. You have to say those two things. Muhammad was a pedophile and pedophilia is bad. If you can't say those two things, I'm not talking to you again. You're requesting. Are you saying those two things?
Can we...
you say those two things or I'm not talking to you. If the next words out of your mouth are anything other than Muhammad was a pedophile and pedophilia is bad, I'm dropping you.
Pedophilia is bad?
Oh, fuck, I didn't think he was actually going to say it, but you know he wasn't about to say Muhammad was a pedophile. I didn't expect him to even say pedophilia is bad, to be honest with you. So, I mean, I guess. Hey, thanks, Casey. But I told him that he needed to say Muhammad is a pedophile, and he didn't say it. Anyway. Oh, yeah, that could happen. All right. If you, ended up making excuses for pedophilia. Good times. All right. Oops, that's not it. All right. Hi, Johnny. What have you got today?
Okay. Yeah, I got a quick. I got proof. Okay. So in '94, when Tupac was shot in the back of the head, right? The 2 shots went to the back of the head. They pierced the skin, and it just bounced off his skull. That proves like the hand of God intervened, and he even said it as like a divine intervention. And he went to prison, and he had this spiritual experience where he realized God wanted him to be alive.
I don't really care what he thought about his experience. What's the reason to believe that a God actually exists?
That's the divine intervention. Like his.
Yeah, you're claiming that. What's the demonstration? That's what actually happened.
Because that's never happened before. Like bullets don't bounce off people's spines.
Yes, they absolutely do. When I was a kid, there was a school shooting. this was actually before Columbine. There was a school shooting at, I was still in elementary school. My sister was in high school, and there was a school shooting at the school where she was. And the only person that got shot was a cop. And what happened was that's exactly what happened. The bullet bounced off the cop's skull, and so he had a wound on the side of his head. But it wasn't, it ended up not being all that bad because it was just, it ended up only being a flesh wound because it bounced off his skull, and he was able to take the guy down and arrest him. Now, obviously, like a bunch of horrible shit happened after that, but yeah, this is the kind of, like, I know of a time that happened that I was connected to. So yes, this is a thing that happens.
Right, but the Tupac
Okay, so you were wrong when you said that's the only time it's ever happened, right?
No.
So you were wrong when when you said that was the only time it ever happened, right?
No, I was talking about.
Okay, so you're
blank.
saying now you're saying that I'm lying, that didn't actually happen?
No.
Okay, so do you agree that the story I just told you about is true?
It happens. Yeah, it happens.
Okay, so
I'm
when
saying
you said that it
blank.
only happened to Tupac, you were lying, right?
No, I'm talking about.
Okay,
the
so you're
point
saying
blank
that it both
situation.
only ever happened to Tupac and it also happened that other time?
No, I'm saying.
Okay, so
point
did it
blank.
happen more than one time, yes or no?
Right. Yes.
Okay, so when you said it had only ever happened to Tupac, you were wrong, right?
Right. I'm talking about.
Okay,
I'm talking
so-
about point.
Okay,
point
so
blank.
yeah, so
That's
you
what I'm
just
saying. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, okay, so you just lied to try to make your point sound stronger than it really is.
No, like the situation you're talking about, was it point blank to the back of the head? That's what happened to him that day. That's all I'm saying. It's like so close to the head. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
no, it was actually like facing him. It wasn't to the back of his head, no.
Okay,
but
yeah. So
but
that could be
regardless,
intervention too.
yeah, no, okay, fine, yeah. So now it's just gonna be post hoc say, well, every time it did happen more than once, but every time was divine intervention. So you believe in a God that will step in and save Tupac from dying, but will stand back and watch while children starve to death? You think that this is evidence for God, and a good God at that, when he watches children starve to death?
I'm saying the intervention, it can be
Right,
an
so you believe in an
intervention,
interventionist God who could stop children from starving to death and doesn't. So then it just sounds like you're saying you believe in an evil God.
No, that's like the world allows people to starve. If the government's
So God doesn't have the power to stop children from starving?
he will, like when the time is right. So, but it's
Right, yeah.
When the dark ages happen, a lot of stuff happens. But like, when
because God doesn't exist. Because if there was a good God, he would obviously save children from starvation. If God has the power to stop a bullet from killing somebody, then obviously he has the power to feed starving children, right?
Yeah, that's gonna happen when
absolutely.
Jesus comes. When he returns,
And now
then
you're
everything will be-
Christian? Last time you were Sikh. Oh my God, I can't. I'm so done with these liars. They're all fucking liars. Unbelievable. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide rational justification for your God belief. Do I know what happened to Credo? No, I have no idea what you're talking about. This guy knows a ball. All right, so if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification for your God belief. Hey, thanks, Bootman Jones. Hi, SP, how old are you?
I'm 19.
And what version of God do you believe in?
Kind of like a deist right now. Something similar to that, saying just something that's that was a sufficient cause for the universe.
Okay, and you're not sober?
Sober who?
Okay. You sure sound like sober. So what's the best argument or evidence for God?
I think like just running a PSR is fine.
That's just gonna collapse into necessitarianism.
Not in every case.
How so?
Yeah, you can have it can fall under contingent, right? Like just a set of all things can be contingent.
Oh yeah, I mean you could say that there is brute contingency.
Yeah, that's fine. But while you're saying that is, you're just saying it's a brute contingent fact that the universe exists or whatever. I'm saying
No, I
God could-
don't say that it's a brute contingent fact.
You think the universe could be another way?
No, that would be saying it's contingent. I don't think the universe is contingent.
Like you're saying like a logical possibility sense. You're saying it's not even possible.
That the universe could be different?
Yeah.
No, I don't think the universe could have been different.
Not even conceptually?
Well, I mean, epistemically, sure.
Do you take mathematics to, be like a sufficient way to think that it could be different or no?
So do you have any reason to think that it could have been different?
Yeah, there's like a mathematical proof that says it could.
Okay, and how do we verify that maps onto reality?
It uses what we currently have. Now, I'm not saying it does map onto, like, obviously the constants don't waver in the universe that we're in, right? But what I'm trying to say is, like, in another possible world, I'm using just modal logic. Like, it could have been this way over that.
Again, I agree that epistemically or conceptually, sure, we can say that it could have been different, or we can imagine it, we can conceive of it having been different, but I don't know that we have any confirmation that it could have been different. Just saying that in X, in such and such mathematical system, it follows from the axioms of that system that it's possible for things to have been different. Fine, I can agree to that, but I don't see any reason why that would compel me to think that that's true about reality.
That's fine. I guess I was just trying to confirm that we both are okay with like brute contingent facts, like on both of our views.
Nope.
Or at least conceivable, right? Like obviously.
Well, I think that brute contingencies are conceivable, but I don't think that they're possible.
So you don't think like in our universe there couldn't have been like one more atom or one less atom or something like that?
Correct.
I don't understand how that would follow, like, because everything's kind of probabilistic, right? So like if let's say
no, I don't think so. Not at the scales where we're talking even about like atoms and molecules. No.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Can you give me like 1 second? Sorry, there was a flood nearby, and they were asking me if I wanted to help them tomorrow. So what I'm trying to say, wait, what did you say last? That it couldn't have been different? Oh, yeah. Using quantum field theory, right? Just quantum field theory necessitates probability, right? So it could have been this way other than that. There's no way of saying, like, it necessarily has to be this way.
No. Our understanding of it is probabilistic. But that doesn't mean that, just because our understanding of, like, when certain atoms decay or stuff like that, like, just because our understanding of that or our explanation of it is probabilistic, doesn't mean that it could have happened any differently than it did. There's no reason to think that just because our explanation of it is probabilistic and even if the actual explanation is probabilistic in terms of like when it's likely to happen or whatever, like, sure, like you maybe can't predict ahead of time when a specific atom is going to decay, but that doesn't tell you that it could have decayed at a different time than it did, right? And any that's going to be true of any other probabilistic feature of quantum mechanics is, yes, we can say that, like, we can't accurately predict exactly when a specific probabilistic event is going to happen, and we can't explain it beyond just the probabilistic explanation, but that doesn't mean that it could have played out differently than it does.
So I'm assuming we're appealing to the wave function, right? So like, are you a Copenhagen interpretation guy or like a wave pilot?
Well, I think it's typically Copenhagen or many worlds. I think the pilot wave is pretty niche view, if I understand correctly, but I don't take a position on any of those. I'm agnostic.
Yeah, Copenhagen is, like, I would confidently say the consensus among, like, quantum physicists right now.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like Copenhagen is the most popular, and it seems like many worlds is second, and then pilot wave seems to be in a distant third. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
so-
I could be wrong about that.
So in that sense, it literally is probabilistic. It's not like if it.
Right, like I
saying
said,
like
I'm
it's the-
agnostic about it. I don't know what the correct interpretation is exactly, but what I'm saying is that just saying that it's probabilistic doesn't demonstrate that it could have played out differently than it is. Just because our explanation is probabilistic doesn't tell us, like, again, that a certain atom could have decayed at a different time than it did.
Oh, so you're looking at it through like a B theory perspective,
Sure.
right? Is that what you're trying to say? Okay. So you're saying like, even though everything seems probabilistic, just with B theory, it's actually deterministic in a sense.
I wouldn't even say deterministic, but it would be what like, because deterministic would imply that it is like the result of some cause, and I'm not saying it's a result of some cause. I'm saying that, as far as I can tell, it everything has to be the way that it is, and regardless of how we explain it and what the laws that govern the behavior seem to be, that doesn't change. Like, that doesn't give us a reason to think that it actually could have been different until we have some confirmation. And I don't know how we would confirm that short of having like a time machine or something.
Right, that's fair. I guess from that angle, I'll probably go with just something to do that I think there can't be an infinite pass, like due to just entropy. Right, this is BGV theorem.
Yeah, but again, BGV is just going to say that BGV only works if the universe has been expanding on average overall. But if we live in a big bounce, big crunch universe, then it hasn't been expanding on average, and the BGV is irrelevant.
Yeah, but we have BGV works for like. Do you take that change argument you run? You take that to be like an eternal timeline, right?
No.
Or you don't think there was a changeless state, right? You think it was always changing?
Well, I don't know. I just know that change can't come into existence.
Well, then it would have to be always changing then.
Well, the states that are changing would have to always be changing, yeah.
Sure, fine. I think we both agree there. If there's like an eternal timeline of like change in both directions or whatever, not both directions, I guess. But
Yeah, but again,
change.
it doesn't have to be eternal.
Yeah, but it still applies when if it's changing, BGV applies.
No, BGV only applies if the universe has been expanding on average for its entire history, which no, we have no reason to think that. If it is actually a big bounce, big crunch universe, then it hasn't been expanding on average into the past. So the BGV would be irrelevant. Entropy resets in the crunches. So there's no reason for us to think that in a big bounce, big crunch universe, the BGV means nothing.
I think that goes against second law. I don't think there's a reason I should be like, entropy can reset. I don't think there's a good reason for me to.
I mean, then you just don't know what you're talking about. You should go look up this guy Sober. He could probably help you out.
Yeah, he's probably a cool guy.
Yeah, he's just so ugly though, you know? I mean, you probably agree.
You dick.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. You're beautiful. What are you doing this to me for?
You have to listen. I have to give you some interesting conversations every now and then.
Yeah, I mean, the only other person in the guest queue is the guy from yesterday who says atheism can't be true because it feels icky.
Because it feels icky.
Yep.
Please bring him up.
Luna, we all knew it was Sober. All right. Yes, that's exactly what you said, First Axiom. That's exactly what you said. And now he's going to pretend that wasn't his argument. That was exactly your argument, Axiom. Atheism can't be true because it just feels wrong that there wasn't a maximal consciousness prior to our existence.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing me back. I just want to tell you, I want to give you my word that I am having this conversation in good faith, because I know you told me yesterday I was lying to you, and I didn't intend to do that because I didn't give you a good definition of what I believe in. But I did want to ask you, there's something that you said yesterday that I want to see if that's actually how you believe, that we can't use our intuition to justify our beliefs. Do you actually hold that position?
Well, yeah, I would say that intuition itself can be some really small amount of evidence, but it can't on its own provide justification. Can't on its own provide epistemic justification.
No, that's a fair statement. The way you said it yesterday was like, no, intuition just means jack shit. I don't know. Maybe you're just being facetious. I don't know.
Well,
But,
yeah, I mean, I could have been frustrated and being a bit hyperbolic, but I would say that
Okay.
like the nuanced take on it is going to be that intuition can provide some small amount of like starting point evidence, but the amount like, you know, I would say it provides evidence in the most generous way possible. Like maybe it can raise credence in a position by like 0.01%, but I can see like, I don't know. I was thinking actually having a conversation about this very thing today, and maybe that updated my view on it a little bit as well. But yeah, I think that like at best intuition can like point you toward what might be true, but it cannot ever actually provide justification.
don't you think ultimately we use intuition to justify induction?
No.
Really?
Well, I mean, maybe some people do.
Okay. I'd be curious, like, for example, I'm assuming you believe, like, the sun will rise tomorrow. Like, how would you justify that in your view? Like, how would you explain that?
Yeah, I would say that I have a very high degree of credence in the belief that the sun will rise tomorrow based on probabilistic evidence. You know that the problem of induction is only about trying to use induction to come to deductive conclusions, right? Like the problem of induction doesn't say that induction never works. It just says that induction isn't deduction. That's all Hume was talking about when he, you know, brought up the problem of induction.
Okay, that's fair. So you're saying with the probabilistic thing, that doesn't depend a lot on intuition, that, you know, we have this intuition that will rise tomorrow because it's risen for many years in the past. That's not intuition?
Correct. Intuition is not involved in that. And there may be some people who take the position based on intuition, but I would say that they're wrong to do so.
Okay. And like I had told you yesterday, I'm more of an agnostic and leaning towards one way, so my position is not very well formulated, and it's probably fed to your frustration, so I apologize for that. But I do want to ask you, like, to me, the more rational position seems to be agnostic, not an atheist in the sense that you claim God does not exist. So can you explain to me how it's more rational to be atheist in that sense, assuming that's what you are, than just being agnostic?
Yeah, I think that there are lots of really good arguments that it's not possible for a God to exist. What kind of God would we be talking about?
Right. I'm talking about just in any general sense of any God. Like I don't know, that maybe that's not what you're claiming, so I don't want to put words in your mouth. I don't know if you're claiming like any sense of God that actually does not exist or cannot exist.
Well, if I define this bottle of water as God, well then obviously yes, it is possible for God to exist, and in fact God does exist. Like the probability of God's existence is 1 because we all concede that this water bottle really exists. So obviously, like, you know, when people redefine God to just say like, well, when I say God, I'm just talking about the universe. Okay, fine. Yes, the universe exists. And so in that sense, yeah, there are ways that the word God can be used to refer to things that really exist. But that doesn't mean that what I'm talking about when I say God isn't real actually exists. And that would be, you know, the immaterial mind that created and sustains the universe.
Okay, I think that's fair. All right, yeah, I just wanted to clarify those 2 points with you, so appreciate you having me back here.
Well, one thing that I'll say is, like, I think that any account of causation is going to make it obvious that a God can't exist. I'm reading a book right now that actually kind of goes through this. The idea that the universe, especially from the naturalist perspective, the universe is just going to be the conjunction of the entire natural causal order, right? All natural causes and causal and grounding relationships, that whole conjunction, that's the universe, right? And so if the universe is the conjunction of all causes and effects and groundings and grounders and groundees, then positing an external grounding or an external causation is just completely missing that would be a contradiction.
Okay. Thank you. And actually, just side question. I don't know if this is not relevant. I'm curious about your meta-ethical position, if you hold one. Just what the answer is.
Neo-Aristotelian ethical realism or ethical naturalism. Jesus Christ.
So you're
a realist.
Moral realist.
Correct.
In the natural sense. Okay.
Yeah, in the Neo-Aristotelian natural sense, specifically like Hursthaus's view.
Okay. Got it. All right. Thank you for your time.
All right. Have a good one. Well, he didn't do it's icky today.
I scared him.
Yeah, I know, right? That was the whole argument yesterday, though. And I went and saw that I was watching Ian's stream from yesterday, and he did the same thing on Ian's stream, where it's like, well, but there just has to be a God. His whole argument was, our consciousness couldn't have come from a lower consciousness. It has to come from a higher consciousness. So there must be some maximal consciousness that exists at the foundation of reality, and that's God. And that was the entire argument yesterday, was because there has to be this fundamental consciousness at the base, at the ground of reality. And that's God, then there must be a God. And it's like, okay, well, what's the reason to think that this fundamental consciousness exists? Well, because it just seems wrong that it just doesn't seem good that there wouldn't be one. It feels wrong to think there wouldn't be one.
With that logic, like, let's say computers can become conscious, right? Obviously, humans can create a higher functioning, more, I'll say perfect, conscious being, right? So, you can argue that a lower conscious being can bring about a higher conscious being. So why should we not think it's interior to the universe, just, smaller than us?
And there are just so many examples in nature of complexity getting increasing over time, like in biological systems, right? Like we see that not only internal to organisms themselves, but also in ecological systems. Complexity increases over time.
Yeah.
Not always, obviously, but in a lot of cases.
Chemicals, like the way chemicals come about is just like atoms like stacking on top of each other pretty much because they don't like sharing space, so they want to like make space. And that's how chemicals come about. And it's actually like, you can't avoid that. You can't avoid complexity in the universe. It has to happen.
Yeah, I was listening to Skog talk one time about abiogenesis, and one of the things he was saying was how, like, in the way that the Earth was at the time, like the conditions that those prebiotic reactions would have been happening, creating the biological, creating RNA and the lipid layers and all that stuff, that was all the path of least resistance. Like, it wouldn't have happened not against the odds, but because of the odds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like when people point out, and by the way, if anyone ever brings up that BGV shit like I just did, it undermines all of quantum physics, like, ever. So, like, don't even listen to them. But,
well, I don't know enough about it. I just know that it only applies if the universe has been expanding on average, and in a big bounce, big crunch model, that's not the case. So, like, BGV is irrelevant.
You do have a problem that the consensus right now is inflationary. So, like, in that same Copenhagen survey you were appealing to, it says inflationary model is the most efficient model right now.
I don't know what you mean by inflationary model.
Like the eternal inflationary, where it's like the expansion is consistent and it just expands, right? And when it's something like a little bump in the road is how our universe comes to be.
I don't know. I guess I would need to look into it. I don't know enough about it.
I'll send you some stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, you can. All right. Well, I'll bring up another person. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're an adult and you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. Hi, Rance. How old are you?
31.
Cool.
What's going on,
man? And what version of God do you believe in?
What version? The biblical version.
Okay. And then what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in a God?
Well, I would say this. For one, do you have free will? Do you feel like you have free will?
Depends on what you mean by free will.
The ability to make your own decisions despite being a product of nature or whatever is your point of view. The ability to make your own decisions.
Do you think those decisions actually pave like a new future? Like, if you make this decision over that decision, does that actually change the future? Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Yeah, that's called libertarian.
Well,
I don't think so.
Yeah, so like maybe the way that I would describe it is like, are you asking, like, if I was in the exact same situation twice, would I be able to make different decisions each time? And I would say no to that, but I would still say that I believe in free will. I just believe in a compatibilist version of free will.
Right. So then the question would be, if we have free will, how can it come from nature?
Yeah, because it's compatibilist. That's what I'm saying. It's because it's not actually free will in the way that most people mean when they say free will. That's why I was trying to clarify. Because like let's do like a little thought experiment. Let's say that I'm in the grocery store trying to decide whether I'm going to buy the objectively best cereal, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, or if I want something different this time and I'm going to get fucking Honey Bunches of Oats. Okay, so like I could be making that decision, and I make the objectively correct decision to get Cinnamon Toast Crunch. All right, so now let's imagine that some time traveler winds the clock back to watch me make the decision again. I'm not aware of anything being different. I'm not aware of anything. It's just the exact same me having the exact same thoughts that was there making the decision the first time. Are you saying that you believe in the kind of free will where it would be possible for me to choose Honey Bunches of Oats the second time?
I'm saying that from my point of view, without somebody to allow you that free will, we're all just
yeah. But I'm just trying to get clear on what you mean by free will. Are you talking about the kind of free will where I could choose differently if it was run back a second time?
Right.
Okay. So then you're talking. Yeah. So then we are talking about libertarian free will, and I don't think that libertarian free will is even possible. Like I think it's a logical contradiction.
Yeah, but I would like to point out Ogar is wrong. Cinnamon Toast Crunch is not objectively the best cereal.
All right, well, dropped and blocked. Got to find all your profiles now. No, but yeah, so it sounds, Rance, like what you're talking about is libertarian free will, and I think it sounds like both of us disagree or reject the idea of libertarian free will.
I think even under
so when you say libertarian free will, explain again what you mean.
The libertarian free will is generally considered to be two things at the same time. It's you are the one that's actually in control of your decision, and you actually have the ability to choose multiple options. That's libertarian free will, and I don't think it's possible for both of those things to be true at the same time.
Right, you gotta have one or the other.
That's why I'm saying that libertarian free will is a contradiction.
I think even in like your Christian paradigm, I don't think it works.
Yeah, well, that would be true too.
How you say?
Yeah, because if God knows all things, right? If he knows all things and he's the first mover, you can presume that every decision you make, he knows. And if you are in everything he knows is true, right? So he only knows true things. So if it's true, you're going to make this decision over that decision, then he knows the right decision, not the wrong one, right? So he would basically know everything you're going to do, and he would be the first mover to everything. It's like kind of like a domino effect that you can't avoid.
Yeah.
So what I'm proposing, if we lived in a system of determinism, let's say every decision you make was already predetermined by whatever situation came before, you are a result of that situation. You feel me? There's no option of free will if there is no conscious being, no absolute being. Now, if you do have an absolute being, then you at least have the option of having a free will on the table. If you don't, then every debate that you have with any person who is a theist, they're just a result of whatever situation that came before them. You feel me? It's not.
Yeah, I agree.
There's no point.
I agree. Maybe another way to look at this is like, if God exists, he's all-knowing and all-powerful, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when he was deciding which universe to create, he knew every single thing that would happen in each of the universes he could create, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so when he was deciding of all the different options, he could have made the universe where you decided not to join the live, but he chose to make the universe where you decided that you would join. That means that he made that choice for you when he created the universe. You aren't the one making that choice. Because if he wanted the universe where you decided not to join the live, well, then he would have made that universe. So you can't make him wrong, right? There's no way for any of us to make God wrong about what he knows. And he knew before he even created the universe, every single thing that would happen in the entire history of the universe. And like I said, we cannot make him wrong. So we have no choice but to do the things that he decided we would do when he chose which universe to create. Because if he wanted the universe, where Ogar is skinny, he would have created the skinny Ogar universe.
I would disagree. I think a lot of people, the most common predisposition towards God is that because He is all powerful and all knowing, that He automatically acts and stays within the all power and all knowing. He can also, but the reality is that He can also uh be a lesser than an all powerful state. You know what I'm saying? He can take a back seat.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
I think we agree that all powerful doesn't necessitate always being maximally powerful, but that does mean
Right.
he has that capacity the whole time, right?
It means He has the capacity that if He does give it up, it's something that He allows to give up. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah, but you don't think God's nature is changing, right? So if he's in this maximally good state right now, but he's later on not in that state and he's like just midfully all good, whatever, or midfully good, then that means his nature changed, and you don't. That means your God's within time.
I mean, if you look at, I think you have to assign that if you do have a God, for one thing, there is no way that we can methodically determine it. That's why God is considered a unprovable being.
Well, I disagree. I think that if things exist, we can demonstrate that they exist, and we can't demonstrate that God exists. So as far as I can tell, we should not think that God exists.
So we can prove that material things exist because they don't have a mind, a conscience.
No,
But once you are listening,
if God
but it's all
interacts,
things.
if God interacts with reality in any way, we would be able to detect that.
Yeah, or you would see a lack of, that would be evidence for it. Like, let's say, let's
if
say
you
we
allow
look, let's say we look back, like we look as far back as we can see possible, right? And we get a utensil that absolutely proves that there's a beginning of time from like creation ex nihilo or something. That would be evidence where you can implement like a God type figure, right? Because something can't come from nothing.
If you accept it as evidence, yes.
Well, sure, but
I would say when you're talking about a higher entity, we have to realize that we are on the lower end. You feel me? So the only way that this entity can be revealed if they allow themselves to be revealed. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, but
So
it
it's
just
not
sounds like
we
what you're
going for
saying is that
higher.
we don't have a reason to believe in a God, and I agree with that. So and there's also not really very far, much further that we can go. So I mean, do you have any arguments or evidence that would give us a reason to believe in a God?
So all I'm saying is that we are on that God's. When you're dealing with a higher entity, we are on His terms.
I don't understand. Okay, but the point is that you can, let's say we're an ant right now, right? Let's say we're an ant and God is a person. We'll just use that sample size, right? We as an ant can see how this godlike person can mess with our environment. We can see how there's like an anvil sitting in this grassland, right? We can say, hey, this had to come from somewhere. We can probably assume it's from this guy, and this is why. Just because we are on a lower level doesn't mean we wouldn't see material things that are evidence in favor. But there's no evidence.
It doesn't mean that we can't perceive these things, but those things are perceived not on our terms but His. Think about it. Would you prove God within a scientific lab? Like, would that make sense? We're talking about the conscious being.
If you
higher
take
than ourselves.
science and philosophy to go hand in hand, then yeah.
Well, science is a subfield of philosophy, but I would say that like typically we would separate science and philosophy, but I would say that whether God exists is not a scientific question, it's a philosophical question. Now, maybe I'm wrong about that, and there are lots of people who think that there are, like empirical ways to demonstrate God's existence. I don't think that that's the way to try. Like, if there is a God, I don't think that's the way it's going to be demonstrated. So I think it's, more a philosophical question, but, I could be wrong. But it doesn't sound...
I've never read a paper where they ended with the conclusion, therefore God.
Well, yeah, and I'm, the book that I'm reading right now is talking about that also. Like, there is no field of science where when you open a textbook, it starts out, for the purposes of this textbook, we assume that God exists and is the creator, grounding, and original source for all things that are created, grounded, and have a source. Like, that, no social science textbook, no geology textbook, no math book, no textbook of any, like, rigorous field field is going to say, you know, these things are true because God makes them true. It's just whatever. But anyway, I don't think that we're really making a lot of headway in terms of, you know, demonstrating God exists. So I appreciate the conversation, Rance. I mean, you seem like a really nice person and good faith, and I appreciate you for that. But I'll move on to the next person, okay?
Till next time, bro.
All right, take care of yourself. All right, well, nice at least.
Oh, he was good faith.
Yeah, super good dude. Okay.
It's like a breath mint. It's like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, way better than that SP theist guy up here. Fucking asshole.
Yeah, you're welcome that I'm up here, by the way, dick.
Why would I thank you for coming up here and trolling me?
You're welcome.
Yeah. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're an adult and you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in a God. Please don't beg in the chat. I'm probably going to skip you if you do. And quick before I bring up the next person, I just want to say thank you to everybody supporting. Poppy Loco, thank you for supporting Rants. That's really kind of you. That's awesome. Lupine, thank you so much. Dipster, Trey, Dabney's, appreciate you guys so much. Dan Blackroyd, appreciate it. Thank you, Lam and Mark Denver and Laura. Poppy Loco. Oh, also supporting First Axiom. Thank you. Nick and Blondie, thank you so much. Tiny Science and Radio Spencer, appreciate it. Aiden and Poopman Jones, love you so much. Thank you so much for the support. Pit Pat and Aiden and KC and Poopman Jones, Nobody on Fire, appreciate you. Thank you, That Girl OB and Neurospicy Cat Lady. Jestaro the Jester, Hercules, appreciate you. Thank you, Bradley Cooper and Poppy Loco, and I don't know what this is. Zope, maybe. Live You and Pay to Win. Thank you all. Racy Stacy, Poopman Jones, Nobody on Fire. Thank you guys. Oleg. Yeah, I sincerely appreciate it, everybody.
Yeah, how many days streaks in a row has Poopman Jones did a gift? This has to be like,
I don't know, man.
Crazy.
I actually, that's a good question because like, I think I've been live every single day since the last day I didn't stream was the 18th of July, and I think that every single day since then, Poopman Jones has been here supporting the hell out of me, and I feel so lucky that that's the case.
Oh, we're gonna glaze. We're gonna glaze.
I deserves it massively. All right. Who doesn't want? No, I'm not gonna say what I was about to say. All right, so we'll bring up Natalie, who may or may not be a Eunice follower. I'm excited. Hi, Natalie. How old are you? Yeah, mute up until you're done. I maybe pulled you up right after that bong rip.
No, yeah, something like that. It wasn't me.
How old are you?
I am 32. Yeah, I know.
What? Okay, then. Yeah, I personally wouldn't recommend a bong rip right before joining the debate, but hey, I mean, I'm nobody's dad.
Diogenes would probably do it, so it's probably okay.
The true goat.
He's my goat.
Every debate bro's goat. That's who the KG guys want to be.
Yeah, except Diogenes did knowledge gap people. They do not.
Yeah, well, if you ask them, they do. All right, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're an adult and you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in a God. Hi, Cran, how old are you?
Not even half. Just kind of sucks. Money wasted.
Yeah. I feel like we're listening on somebody's private conversation here. It's uncomfortable. All right. Well, that was fun. Now I wish I hadn't moved on from rants. We could still be talking to him. I mean, we wouldn't get anywhere, but it'd be a fun conversation. I mean, I'm not trying to talk shit on rants. I just think that he kind of like is in the place that he was in. You know what I mean?
I have news. Did you see? I don't know if you know who AT is.
Mm-hmm.
but have you seen his AI thing?
Yeah,
It's-
I scrolling past it earlier, and it seemed like Deathless was just losing his mind. It's pretty hilarious.
So anyone who doesn't know, I think her name's like Luna or something, or Sophia, whatever. You have
Yeah.
to say Sophia and say her name, and then say what you have to say. Deathless preemptively was cutting her off because he couldn't debate without cutting an AI off.
I saw that too. Yeah, he's like, no, excuse me, no. It's like, dude, it's gonna give you the response. You just need to calm down. I love there was one where he's like asked some question about like Gettier cases and correspondence theory of truth, and he's like, how does this make this thing impossible? I don't remember exactly what the question was, and the AI was like, it doesn't. It just like completely
I think
just completely shut him down. It was so funny.
Once he's making a new model. Once he gets it, we're like, I want him to make a sassy AI and just make like so it can like rhetoric max or something like that.
Sure. I know Dr. Blitz made a Deathless Light one. He fed in a couple of Deathless Light rants into an LLM, and then he gets the LLM to spit out Deathless Light rants for him. So funny.
I have not seen it.
It's fucking hilarious. I saw him do that because you know how on Ian's stream, Ian will just talk endless shit about Blitz, especially when Blitz is like in the comments or whatever, and then he'll bring him up. It's like, oh, this piece of shit, Dr. Blitz, and he was like, I don't remember some position he was like saying they disagreed on, and so then Blitz was like, hold on, and then he typed whatever they were talking about into his Deathless Light chatbot and read off the response to Ian. It was fucking hilarious. Good times.
That is so funny. I love when Ian talks shit about people who's on his side.
It's good times. All right. Well, I feel like we kind of went through everybody. We had a really strong beginning of the stream. AT is an atheist debater. I mean, that's just AT. Like, I don't know what you want to know, the Naz. Oh my god, speaking of Ian and Deathless, did you see a couple days ago when Deathless went on Ian's stream?
No, is it on recording? I need to see that.
It was really fucking funny, and Ian just like went full rhetoric, and it was just like they picked up a book and just started reading from it to Deathless. It was so good. It was classic. It was a classic.
I don't think I've ever seen Deathless stay on like substance ever. Like it's just always a rhetoric guy.
Yoti can do it. That's the only one I've ever. Yes, Nobody on Fire. They ran Trivialism. Ian ran Trivialism.
Trivialism in one.
He ran Trivialism against Deathless Light, and it was fucking hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, what was I just saying? That was a field to lose. Yeah. At Yoti. I've seen Yoti keep Deathless in line before and actually have like a conversation with him. Last time he came up here, I got further with him than I ever have before. And I was getting him to actually explain some stuff so that I knew what the fuck he was talking about. But it didn't last very long. And then when I tried to clarify something or point out that he had contradicted himself, when I tried to point it out, then he decided that I had lost. So
Lupine said trivialism is just words don't mean words.
yeah, I mean, kind of. I mean, it's annoying because it's just like everything is true. Like I had someone come up here and try to run trivialism and in favor, like if trivialism is true, then God exists. Trivialism is true, therefore God exists. And so then like, what am I going to say? Okay. Is the proposition God does not exist true? Yes. Okay. Debate's over.
Well, you can say that, and then they'll be like, well, but it's also, but like if it's like, then it's like in a superposition or it's unfalsifiable. I don't know what it is, but trivialism's stupid.
Yeah, trivialism's ridiculous. Anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm probably gonna call it for the evening. It is Friday after all, and I got some being lonely on my couch to do, so
Are you gonna do any more like dual streams with like, I know you did Godless Engineer, Are you gonna do any more stuff like that?
I don't know. I don't. That was the one time that I had the opportunity to do that, and I took it. So,
We'll set something up, Bogart. Don't worry.
all right, well, hit me up. But yeah, I appreciate everybody. Thank you again for the support, everybody. Not just the people sending gifts. Thank you for being here, for watching, for commenting, for liking, for sharing, all of that. It's massively appreciated. And then, of course, I do appreciate all the people sending gifts. Poopman Jones, you're a legend. Thank you so much. And also, Nobody on Fire sending support to me and to this SP Theist, whoever that is. But yeah, thank you, everybody. You tried to play it off at the beginning like I didn't know.
I tried. The penguin gave it away. I knew it, but I can't.
No, it wasn't the penguin. It was your voice.
Damn it. I keep forgetting to be Australian.
Yeah. But no, I do appreciate it, everybody. Thank you. The last thing that I always like to say before I end the stream is that tomorrow is not guaranteed. So remember, you don't know how many more opportunities you'll have to let your family and friends know how important they are to you. So don't miss those opportunities.